and I call Composite 8 National Food Strategy. The General Council support the motion to be moved by BDA, seconded by EAS, supported by CSP and FBU, and I will then try to take additional speakers. BDA.
Thank you, President. Good morning, Congress. Annette Mansell Green, moving Composite 8, calling for a national food strategy. Congress in 2022-23, 7.2 million households in the UK were food insecure. Currently, 30% of children in England, that's 4.3 million, are living in food poverty. And recent surveys conducted by Survation for the NEU reveal that 52% of struggling parents in England are cutting back on their food bills due to rising costs. 37% of children in England know someone at school who doesn't have enough to eat. That is a national scandal. Globally, we produce 1.5 times more than enough food to feed every man, woman, and child on the planet. People go hungry because they are poor and they don't have enough money to buy the food being produced. There's no scarcity of food. In reality, the scarcity narrative was produced by corporate food regimes to serve their interests through capitalism. Food has transformed from a necessity to a commodity, solely for profiting from its high demand, and any detrimental health results appear to be collateral damage in favour of corporate greed. The previous government passed up a real opportunity to address the crisis of food poverty in the UK when they failed to implement the recommendations in the report that they commissioned from Henry Dimbleby and turning them into a meaningless food strategy. They produced a weak statement of intent, which ended up gathering dust. Now, the report wasn't perfect, but it was a good start. It had ambition and would have set a direction of travel that would have made significant difference to the health of the nation, in particular children. So the BDA is clear. There's no quick fix here, but there are actions that can be taken now to make a start on improving access to healthy, nutritious food that's affordable and sustainably produced. Since 1976, the UK government has been required under the International Covenant of Economic, Social and Cultural Rights to secure the right to adequate food for everybody in the UK. The previous government failed miserably to do that, but we now have an opportunity with the new government to make that happen with a right to food bill. So if that is enshrined in law, that gives us a rights-based approach which will improve the implementation of a comprehensive UK-wide strategy, and this approach considers both the social and environmental implications of the food system. This will improve wider health of the population and the planet for the public of now and in the future. The BDA is also working alongside a wider coalition led by the NEU on calling for universal free school meals as part of our strategy. We want to extend free school meals to all primary pupils, which will significantly improve their diets, nutrition and educational outcomes. And I want to be clear, evidence shows that universal free school meals, adding any other universal benefit, will increase the uptake of school meals, reduce stigma, ease financial pressure on families. The benefits of this policy outweigh the costs, as demonstrated by successful examples in London. The economic analysis projects over £41 billion in benefits against under £24 billion in costs over 20 years in England. No child should fall through the net, and all children should have at least one hot and nutritious meal every day. So this demand should be without question. What we're asking for is simply the right thing to do for people and the planet. So the government must take the lead and provide a statutory right to accessible, affordable and nutritious food, universal school meals for all primary and secondary school children and young people, and an evidence-based agricultural and food production policies to ensure healthy, nature-positive and affordable food. There's an urgent need to escape the profit-driven junk food cycle, reduce diet-related inequality and create a long-term shift in our food culture. All of this of course, will help to alleviate pressure on our NHS and contribute to the overall health of the economy. So that growth piece, we can contribute significantly to that. And we're also calling for the establishment of a Minister for Food and Health to work across departments, in particular the DHSC and DEFRA. This would be a really positive step in the right direction. So I urge you to support the motion. We cannot allow our children to go hungry any longer. I move.
Thank you. EIS to second.
Morning, President and Congress. I am Christina Fleming from the EIS. I am proud to second this really important motion. I'm going to concentrate on the free school meals aspect of this motion, as we at the EIS understand the educational benefits that free school meals bring to our children and young people. We are about to publish updated anti-poverty advice for our members. We welcome the extension of free school meals to our primary 4 and 5 children. This follows the SNP 2021 Manifesto Pledge. Free school breakfasts and lunches for all primary children all year in state-funded schools by 2026. So, currently we are up to our primary 5, age 9 children, but no mention of free school meals in last week's programme for government, despite some of our local authorities being ready to deliver for their primary age pupils. Scottish Government would rather we all go at once, a choice that says if we can't feed all the children, we won't feed some of them. Quite the optic. One of our local authorities, through cross-party political choice, became the first in Scotland to deliver free school meals to all primary age children from August 2023. There is still more to be done. Hunger doesn't stop when primary 7s move to high school. Families don't suddenly become able to pay because their children turn 12. This motion sets out the health benefits of access to healthy and nutritious food. Our Standing Up to Poverty booklet is clear on the impact if that is not available to children and young people. In 2022, the Herald reported that thousands of our children are being treated for malnutrition. In 2023, we have a growing prevalence of rickets, a throwback to Dickensian Britain. Physicality is also impacted. Professor Tim Cole, an expert in child growth rates, says austerity has clobbered the height of children in the UK. In the short and longer term, hunger, undernourishment and the stress and trauma of food insecurity erode physical, emotional and mental health. These undermine a young person's ability to learn and so to benefit from all that school can offer. We, the EIS, are not alone in Scotland in the call for universal free school meals. We fully supported the STUC Food for Thought campaign and would recommend the Scottish Youth Parliament report, The Right to Food. This report shows that our children and young people get it about universal free school meals. So why don't our politicians? In 2024, why are we still fighting for our children to be fed? Please support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Call CSP.
Good morning, Conference. My name is Maria Cass, and I speak as a representative of the Chartered Society of Physiotherapists. And this is my first time at the TUC and first time speaking. I'm speaking in support of this motion, and specifically the CSP amendment. I am a pain specialist physiotherapist, and I live and work in Birmingham, including some of the most deprived areas in the UK. My patients experience multiple health, welfare and education inequalities. These communities have been poorly served by successive governments. They're ethnically diverse and many do not speak or read English and are often illiterate in any language. They have experienced racism, Islamophobia, exclusion and neglect. Many voted to reflect that in the election. Often, my patients arrive in my clinic when they've experienced years of chronic pain and start their work to better manage at a huge disadvantage, poorly resourced, poorly educated, and poorly fed. Poorly fed. Food poverty in the UK, one of the richest countries in the world in the 21st century. Food is one of the most basic building blocks of life. It's disconcerting that this strategy is such an important requirement today. With the right to food enshrined in UK law, we have a framework for tackling food poverty through upstream policy actions requiring government departments to create the economic, social and environmental conditions that would allow communities to sustain themselves healthily. Obesity, vitamin deficiencies and their health consequences cannot be blamed on the patients. Patients need knowledge and empowering, not blaming, and a national strategy takes us in the right direction. CSP members treat and rehab patients the best they can, but our care can only go so far when it's under-resourced and the core principles of public health are ignored. Our care can only go so far when planning departments create landscapes hostile to active travel and budgets for preventative health messaging and interventions are slashed. A focus on the wider social determinants of health needs to be a priority for all government functions and services. Food is political. It starts here, but we can see this around the globe. In 2023, the International Red Cross produced a report, Food Security in Times of Conflict, highlighting the weaponization of food and its role in genocide, as we are witnessing today in Sudan and Palestine. A national food policy is a platform for food justice locally and globally. Support the principle of public health in all policies and start by supporting this motion for a right to food. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, I will call the FBU are next. I will then call in the debate NEU and Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union, and I don't intend to take other additional speakers. FBU.
Cheers, President. Congress, Sir Murray Fire Brigades Union, speaking in support of Composite Motion 8. Congress, I stood on this platform last year and said there's no clearer sign of injustice than in one of the richest economies of the world. We've got 4 million children living in poverty. Kids are going to bed hungry and then getting up and going to school to learn on an empty stomach. That, Congress, is a national disgrace. The motion talks about the proposed white paper including universal free school meals. The FBU tried to move an amendment at the Labour Party's National Policy Forum last year to include that in their manifesto for this year. It didn't get supported. Congress, we were told it's unaffordable. It's not unaffordable, it's choice, it's political choice, and it's a choice that should and can be made. The Labour Party, it's their time. They're in government. They've talked the talk in opposition. It's now time to walk the walk in government and make real change to make sure our communities are not going hungry. We heard from Keir Starmer yesterday that the state of the finances the Tories have left the country in are dire. That may be the case, but surely there's nothing more important than in making sure our kids are fed, the poorest and the most vulnerable in society have got a meal. Congress, we also need to acknowledge the work undertaken by those in the bona fide nutrition and dietary needs sector. Represented by the BDA and other unions who work so hard to improve people's health, especially those living in poverty. Food inequality is health inequality. It's a killer and it needs to be ended, and it needs to be ended fast. Congress, the size of the workforce in the sector is far too small and massively underpaid. The current longer-term plan for a 14% increase in the number of dietitians in the NHS and our communities needs to be amended to a short-term plan for a minimum increase of 25%. The voluntary sector make a valuable contribution, but Congress, people's health shouldn't be dependent on the work of volunteers, even though they do a fantastic job. It should not be dependent on them. The BDA and other unions are right to press a workforce strategy. The people of this country, they need and deserve good nutrition, they deserve access to affordable food, and they deserve to enjoy good food health from the cradle to the grave. We just need the political will from a government to make it happen. Congress, I'm going to finish in a second, and I don't want you to give me the applause, but what I do want you to do is give a massive round of applause for all the thousands of people, trade union members who donate to food banks, for the thousands of volunteers who work in the food banks, for the MPs like Ian Byrne and the campaigners in Westminster who are fighting for the right to food to become enshrined in UK law. The BDA and all of those in the food sector fighting to ensure the basic right to food is exactly what it says on the tin, a basic right. Congress, they're the ones who are literally stopping people starving to death. They are the ones who deserve our thanks and our applause. Support the motion. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Ian. Call NEU.
President, Congress, I'm back again. But just like me, this one is going to be short and sweet. How many of us had a beautiful breakfast in a hotel restaurant this morning? I know that mine was absolutely delightful, but I also know that many of the children in my school this morning, that wasn't the case. I know that at break times, lunch times, children come to me because they know I have a snack cupboard, and they go, oh, Miss Horsford, she'll have something to eat. And I know that I've taken children for walks when they're in their sanctions, and I've gone, have you eaten today? And they go, no, miss. Hungry children can't learn. Hungry children can't socialise. Hungry children cannot do the things that mean they will become functioning adults in society. What Marcus Rashford started during the COVID pandemic a couple of years ago is not finished. We have not finished until every primary school child has a free meal, lifted out of poverty, and aren't ashamed to do so. You shouldn't be ashamed to go and eat dinner at school. At our NEU conference in April, the blue school meals bus was parked outside. It was an excellent bus, and they've been sending out kits for No Child Left Behind. I'm a member of that. I've been talking about the blue school bus coming to our school, and it's going to end up at the Labour Party conference on the 24th of September. It left the Health and Social Care Department yesterday. Hungry children are scared children. Scared children become anxious young people. Anxious young people lean towards far-right ideologies and lean with the people who say to you, we're going to help you. If our children aren't hungry and scared, there's no need for them to fall into those traps. Please make sure that you vote for this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I call Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union.
President, Congress, Sarah Woolley, General Secretary of the Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union, absolutely supporting this motion. In 2024, in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, it is nothing short of a travesty that food workers, the very people who ensure our food supply, are struggling to access the basic necessity of life. It is incomprehensible that those who grow, harvest, package and serve our meals are themselves unable to afford nutritious meals for their families. And we know our members are not alone facing this. The fact that food insecurity still plagues our nation is a damning indictment of a society that has been subjected to over a decade of austerity. Food poverty is not just about hunger, it is about health, dignity and equality. When individuals, particularly those in the food industry, cannot afford to put healthy meals on their tables, the repercussions ripple through every aspect of their lives. It leads to inadequate nutrition, which fuels a host of diet-related diseases such as obesity, diabetes and heart conditions. These in turn place an enormous strain on our NHS, worsening health inequalities and trapping people in a vicious cycle of poverty and poor health. We have to understand that food insecurity is not just a personal crisis, it is a national crisis, and therefore it demands a national response, which is why we were involved in creating the Food and Work Network, which has been doing some fantastic work over the last 18 months, and we were hoping to continue to build on that going forwards. The inclusion of a right to food in UK law is not merely a symbolic gesture, it is a fundamental step towards ensuring that no one in this country goes hungry. A statutory right to food would provide a powerful framework for holding the government accountable and for making food security a reality for everyone. It is disappointing that the Henry Dimbleby plan for a national food strategy was not fully realised by the last government. Whilst it was not, unsurprisingly, as radical as we would have liked as a union, the proposed measures such as escaping the junk food cycle, reducing diet-related inequality, making best use of our land and creating a long-term shift in our food culture were very much welcomed by us. These things are not luxuries, they are necessities, lifelines for millions of people who are teetering on the edge of food insecurity. We must demand the implementation of these measures through a comprehensive food strategy white paper. It's not just about agriculture and food production, it is about ensuring that the food on everybody's plate is affordable, healthy and produced in a way that is positive for nature and sustainable for future generations. And we also need universal free school meals for all children, because no child in this country should be hungry whilst trying to learn. We cannot not allow food workers or anyone else in this country, for that matter, to be going hungry in 2024. We've got a campaign for a comprehensive food strategy grounded in evidence that the Food and Work Network has been collating to ensure that food poverty becomes a thing of the past. Please support this motion.
Thanks, Sarah. I now move to the vote on Composite 8. Will all those in favour please show? Thank you. Will all those against please show? Thank you. That carries.